compared to everybody else who are fairly new.
True. Yeah.
Right.
In the podcast, one of the best segments I find is the brilliant versus bullshit segment. Why is that? And who came up with it? I mean, why do we need to discuss this? Is it because there is a lot of bullshit out there in this space, in the self-help space?
100%. That's why. Yes, absolutely. And I think it's just Mark just loves that game or games like that. Like, you have to analyze something with a limited view of, is this brilliant or is it bullshit? Or, and we can talk anywhere in between. We came up with the idea though. We were sitting around thinking about, okay, what direction do we want to take the podcast? We had been doing it for several months and, we got to the point, we were a little bit different in that Mark had me as a co-host, and it wasn't just a guest after guest after guest, and the same guest after guest after guest, like everybody else does. And so we wanted to come up with more of like a kind of talk show format. We have a brilliant marketing person, Jamie Jensen, who's come on this last year, and she helped us we came up with just a whole bunch of different segment ideas and then kind of whittle it down to the 3 that we have now. We wanted a format that was kind of reproducible, at least for us, that we could kind of just plug into with ideas that we had, and it didn't have to follow these bigger themes necessarily too. The brilliant or bullshit though, I think, it's funny because Mark has used that phrase a lot over the years, like, is this brilliant or bullshit, just in us talking with each other. And in fact, when he came up with the article, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, well before the book came out, that was the basis for the book. He came to me with the article and he's like, hey, Drew, is this brilliant or bullshit? He's like, I can't tell. Then. Yeah, it is. Let's go back to 2015, I think, maybe 2014 even. And I mean, he sent that to me and I was like, Mark, this is pure gold. If you don't publish this, I'm going to publish it and you can fire me and I don't care. And, then it went on to be the book and it sold 20 million copies and all that. So it's that old. Yeah.
I see. Okay. That's a great segment. Outside of that, can you share the structure of the episode? Are there any other segments that you consistently use? Can you share from ideation to the final production? Is it always consistent?
I mean, it's a messier process than it looks like, honestly. A lot of the things, I just have we have this little database we use on Notion, and it's for ideas. We throw ideas in there and it can be anything, shower thought ideas and big ideas we've been thinking about for years or whatever. Some area of research we really want to dig into. And then, if one, especially like if it's a research segment, it's obviously going to be a brilliant or bullshit. If it's usually more kind of like just a standard self-help one, the episode that went out recently, was on confidence. That's kind of a self-help, self-development space topic that we want to talk about. And we want to get into the specifics of it. It's kind of a messy process, honestly. And then we kind of whittle it down and refine it until we get to an episode that we feel like, okay, this could work really well. The reader questions are easy because we get a lot of great reader questions, and a lot of times they're related to some other segment that we want to talk about. So we throw them in there. But for the most part, I will come up with most of the structure for this, send it to Mark. He comes back and he's like, I like this. I don't like this. I'm tired of talking about this, or we should talk more about this. And he has plenty of ideas that come up to, he gets on Twitter sometimes, X, I guess now. And he follows a lot of smart people on there that have interesting ideas that he'll send to me and we can talk about. So yeah, if you want to see how the sausage is made, as they say, it's definitely a messy process.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how fancy it looks from the outside. It's always messy behind the curtain.
That is one of the, I always kind of knew that, but one of the biggest things I've learned through doing this is, oh my God, everybody's just kind of flying by the seat of their pants in the background. And that's just how it is. That's how it is with everything.